What is up, everybody? What is up, everybody? As always, I'm just doing a little last-minute tweaking of the stream. Hopefully, YouTube catches up. I'm gonna move this way, and you know what? I'm gonna pivot the camera just real quick. Good to see so many familiar faces or handles in the chat tonight. We are continuing our never-ending saga. No, hopefully it's ending. Our saga of PrintrBelt building. And if you're just joining us for this, this is how far we've gotten in my box of PrintrBelt goodies. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome. Hey, Thomas, Jonathan, Michael, Ron, welcome all. Can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? I'm gonna start getting my stuff laid out. Greetings from Earth. Mr. Practical Printing himself is with us tonight. Hey, Chris. So what do we owe the pleasure? No Tom Petty playing tonight? Box of goodies. It's probably loud. Sorry, it's up against my my lav. You know, I got all excited to go to the hardwired lav tonight, and I realized I couldn't find my adapter. I don't know why I keep want to come into the middle of the table, but then I like hide behind the secondary windows. So we're just gonna have to condition ourselves to stay here. Yes to both. I'm going to assume that means we are good. I did check my levels and monitor. I've been getting better at this. Been trying to implement some new stuff. Oh, here's a new treat. Let's see what this does. We're trying to get into the 21st century of streaming here. We added, by we I mean I, added our favorite bot, Nightbot, to the whole thing. I was lamenting last time that we didn't have any music, so I don't know, I just grabbed like a playlist. I don't know, is it going to start playing music for us? I don't hear any music, but I don't want to hear myself. That's not good. Well, I don't know. It says it's playing music. Hey, Mitch. Not too bad. Not too bad. Everybody's doing good. I don't know. There's something about, you know, being able to request music and all this stuff. I'm new to the whole thing, so I don't know if it's too loud. Is the background music playing at all? Is it obnoxious? Is it too loud? Is it nothing? Maybe I didn't set it up. But anyway, not important. And it seems like something, so I got a little bit of a noise floor or something, a little pulsating. Hold on a second. I know, I should have done this all ahead of time. Okay, I got my noise suppression. Yeah, that's okay. No music. All right, I'm not gonna worry about music right now because you didn't come here for the music, Mitch. You came here for the engaging dialogue, personable host, and to see hopefully a PrintrBelt come to life. So sad news today, huh, everybody? Really bummed about hearing about PrintrBot. Hold on a second, I'm gonna unplug this. I instead of my my phone, I was gonna try to use this old PlayStation View as a camera, but I don't think there's drivers for OS X for that, so it didn't seem to be working. And Travis stole my other 920, that jerk, for the catch-up. Actually, he didn't. It's just over at the Womack place for community catch-up, along with my other B camera that points at Heather. All right, so everybody take a deep breath, exhale. Say a little prayer for our friends over at PrintrBot, who are all very talented and I know are going to land on their feet. But today is a day of sadness, hearing that they're shuttering up shop. You know, real innovator in the space. They've been around since, I don't know if it's fair to say the beginning, but certainly since, you know, RepRap kind of came on the scene. I want to say, what, 2011, 2012, and it was awesome. Dave came for the music. Good to see you, Dave. Thanks for joining. I know a lot of people were saying on Twitter and other parts of the social medias today that you know, they got their start using PrintrBot stuff, and so hopefully when Brooke comes back into the light, it said on the website that, you know, he's going to take a little hiatus, and I don't blame him. I mean, as a business owner, I got to imagine a big blow, you know, to have to make such a tough decision. But hopefully when he comes back into the light and sees all the love he got, there was a lot of really awesome videos and stories and things shared today. Jimmy Shaw is in the house. Look at this, man, and Tanner 3D. All right, we got a party tonight, huh? And YouTube's saying my stream is good for once. Maybe my ISP is actually giving me the bandwidth I'm due. It's gonna be a good night, huh? If only the music was working. I don't know. I haven't really used Nightbot before, so I just kind of quickly tried to follow a tutorial, and then I realized, like, this is stupid. I'm missing out on streaming just because I'm trying to, you know, add a little production value, and it's really not the important thing. But anyway, I got my little PrintrBot keychain. We'll put it right here in remembrance. Actually, just put it over here where camera 2 can see it. So tilt that downward a little bit more so you're not looking at my rig as much. Let's see, hands here, like playing. Okay, I think we're good. You're here for the free cookies? Man, I wish I had free cookies. If I had cookies to give, I would absolutely share my cookies with all of you. I think I got a couple Fig Newtons left in the pantry. You guys like Fig Newtons? Newtons are fruit and cake. Fruit and cake. Good evening, Cyber Dustin. All right, so when we last left our PrintrBelt hero, there were a couple things going on. We didn't yet have this piece, which I've since printed. This is the part fan mount, which will go on our handy dandy extruder assembly as such, and then we'll attach our fan. So we'll get to that in a minute. But I left off with doing the Y gantry here, and the stepper motor that I was going to put in place that drives the extruder up and down the Y gantry. The hole was just ever so too small. It looks like they drilled 3 holes for these for the flanges for these linear bearings, and didn't really account for the size of the stepper. I don't know what you want to call this, the inner ring that kind of allows the whole thing to seat flush and whatnot in there. So all right, I got all my steppers here, and they don't really, in the instructions, if you haven't been following along, they basically gave a series of PDFs, and on the website before it closed down today, there was a Fusion 360 file as well, which I had realized, thanks to Danska, our good friend Dan online, that I was using like a dated copy. I mean, I just pulled the link off the website, but actually there is a full-blown, much better exploded Autodesk 360 drawing of the whole thing, which I will pull up and reference in just a little bit. But stripper music? You got stripper music going? Wait, is there now music? I should really probably monitor my... I'm not sure how the music would actually, unless like somehow Nightbot is injecting music in on the YouTube side. Like, I don't actually have a source pulled for Nightbot on OBS right now, so I don't know. Maybe Dustin or any other OBS pros can tell me later on what I'm doing wrong for the music. Maybe I better just, in case there is a lot of music, just turn this off. It says Guster right now, so that's not stripper music. So I don't know what you're thinking, but let's kill that, because like I said, we're not here for the music. We're here for the meaty content. And I think I can just, that's not the right one. Turn off the text. Oh, here. Hide it. Bye-bye. Yeah. All right. Coming over here. I know. This is kind of how I operate on these things. I kind of spend a couple minutes at the beginning just kind of getting comfortable, situated, make sure, you know, I'm zen. I'm talking slowly. I'm often told that that I talk too fast and I digress often. I know, right? Dan is one of the '1 advocates for PrintrBot. He's been doing PrintrBot stuff since we were all wee lads. So I'm gonna pull up my PDF here of the Y assembly, and I'm gonna get rid of some of this extra chrome so we can really get in here, dive in. So like I was saying, when we last left off, the hole for where the stepper mounts right in here is a little bit too small, as illustrated. Let's see, I'm gonna need that drill in a second. Let's put this over here. Camera beat. See, I really need a Mickey. I was watching Joel's stream last night and I was just super jealous. I did finally break down and get a stream deck. I've looked at a couple different options. The Rocat solution that Funking 3D was suggesting and stuff like that, and you know, I may do that down the road, but obviously time being a premium, I figured it was fine, and I end up getting it on sale and using some Amazon points, so hopefully that'll help smooth the process in the future. But anyway, so here's what I'm talking about. Here's my stepper that's gonna eventually drive the belt that drives the extruder. Shin bone's connected to the knee bone. Up and down my Y gantry, like this here. And it does not seat flush in the mounting plate. Grr. So we're gonna ream it out. And it might get a little bit loud for a second. I got my handy dandy stepper bit collection here. And we're just gonna give it a little, just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I covered up my chat window, which is no fun. Let's put that right there. Aim it up, please. Okay, it's too low, yeah. Too low, too high. Like I was saying, I don't have a producer with me like we do on the ketchup. All right, now I've got a big drill in the way. Let's see. Okay, we can see now. See, the challenge is always like trying to find the best angle so that my fat hands and stuff aren't obscuring the view. But I'm confident that with your guys' coaching, we can do it. So we're already, what, 10 minutes in and I've done absolutely nothing. Welcome to the build. Switching to drill mode. Turning off the torque. And we're going to be careful not to, you know what, I'm not going to try to do that in place because I am older, wiser. Actually, you know, let's take it out this way. I don't want to take the linear, I don't want those little linear bearings to come off the rods right now because I really don't want a whole bunch of tiny little ball bearings flying everywhere. I can be taught. I've learned past lessons. So instead, I'm going to drill it and let hot shards of aluminum, steel, no, it's aluminum, fall into my lap, and they're not that hot. Maybe tightening the chuck would be a good call. That's better. Safety first, he says, without wearing his safety goggles. Don't throw shards in my eye. And from the other side. And don't worry, I've got my shop vac. I'm not going to do that right now. I'll clean up after the fact. Right now we're just going to throw it onto the floor. The carpet is actually coming out. Finally putting some hardwood in this place. That was probably pretty loud. So if you're on headphones, guard your ears. Gird your ears. I think loins are the only thing you gird. It's a weird thing to say. I hope everybody's loins are good tonight. Wrong one. Isn't working with extrusion just so satisfying? So satisfying. Look at that. Like a glove. Hey, that's a cool shot. Look at that. Dramatic. Coming at ya. Look at that. And now it fits in there just nicely. We can get it in nice and snug. My holes all line up. That's a thing of beauty, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. I am professional. Professional what, Chris? Professional something or other. Professional goofball. Listen, I gotta warn you. If Travis jumps on the chat tonight and starts asking a bunch of questions, he's been hassling me all night about RepBox stuff. I said, Travis, give it a break, man. We're doing the PrintrBelt tonight. No, he's very busy. He's got to get it done. Give him a hard time. I hope he's listening right now. He probably isn't. So the says that we need to put in some M410s. No, I'm sorry, some M36s. The button heads. We like our button heads to secure our stepper in the professional something. Thanks, Chris. Let's just make sure these are 6s really quick. I know they are, but you know, the proof is in the pudding. You get to see it upside down because I'm too lazy. Also, you remember like when you could do the secret messages on the calculator when you turned it upside down? So it says 565 right now, but really it's 595 when you flip it this way. Not as exciting as the secret calculator messaging, but we don't need to go into that. It's a family-friendly show here. It's not. Sort of is. I don't know. I don't really cuss or anything like that. Like my ball driving technique there. Just flip it up out of the way. It's there. So what's everybody else doing tonight? Chris, what are you working on, man? Look at that nice little shard. Tasty. No, not really. Don't eat those. Nothing. Crickets. We had a couple people on at the beginning, and then the crickets. Well, I will tell you that I put fresh batteries in. At least the transmitter on the lav tonight. We'll see. It's the receiver. They designed the receiver on this little cheapo to only use AAA's. So the thing eats batteries more than I would like. So I need a better solution. It's too bad there wasn't something. You know, the receiver itself especially, it'd be cool if they just had a little power brick option or something, because it's sorry, my fly was down there. That's embarrassing. You can't see it, but it's not very proper. You'd think on the receiver end, you know, that could be hardwired and not require eating up all these little AAA batteries. The transmitter is AA, so they last, you know, for maybe 2 or 3 streams. Still eats through them quite a bit, but yeah, I know, and I'm kind of bummed, Dustin, that I'm not gonna have an opportunity to potentially get another one, because like I said, was trying to, you know, create a case for setting up a kind of a belt farm, so we could actually like get a couple buckets going and produce a lot of parts in unison, and you know, see how that went. It really takes a takes print farming to a whole nother level when you have automation like that. Now, to be fair, you can set it up with Polar 3D's cloud setup that allows you to queue up prints on the fly and all that stuff. So, you know, technically you can set a queue of all kinds of different parts, and you know, if you just want it all to dump into the same bucket and sort out after the fact, you can certainly do that. All right, well, we got our stepper on. That's good. We can put our pulley on for the belts. That's in my pulley bag, which is down here. My geared. Just don't have enough desk space. There's never enough desk space, you know? It just seems like no matter how much desk space you give yourself, it's like some kind of Murphy's Law, right? Your stuff always expands to fill the space that it has. It's like a gas, right? It just expands to fill the space. So, you know, I can get a nice desk space, and before I know it, it's just covered in all kinds of other stuff. So let's see, was my teeth go toward the plate, according to the imagery there. Exactly, Dustin. Hey, Rover, good to see you again tonight. A little earlier tonight, huh? How goes the war with the humans? Probably a better question for Chris, who's off planet right now. Somewhere around Proxima Centauri lies Chris, battling the Klingons. Sector 7. Just making stuff up now. Alright, got a little pulley on there. I'm sure we'll have to adjust that later. What else? Got a stepper. Let's see. So I set my little end stop mount, and I guess I can tighten this up a little bit so it's just not sliding around on me. So that'll do. And I think it's time to, you know, really affix it to the gantry, to the X gantry. So if you haven't followed along before, the coordinate system for the PrintrBelt is certainly a little bit different from your traditional Cartesian. The way they've labeled it, they're calling this the X gantry because basically as this moves across, if you were to face forward, you're moving in the X-axis as you pan across the belt. And then the Y gantry is this whole assembly. So as the extruder moves up and down this, now what's interesting about that is obviously as it moves up, it moves off the belt, but the Z, fear not, puts everything back under it for it. So as it's going up, it's feeding underneath. And so if you look at the slice profile, you know, it's like if you were to fan a deck of cards out, the way that it looks when it slices, but then as it's printing, because the belt's moving, it's locating the last piece underneath it as it goes. So there's some crazy math going on, I'm sure, to figure that all out. But there's a version of Cura that is maintained by the people over at Black Belt 3D that is designed for printing on belt style printers, and thankfully it works, or it's supposed to work with this as well, by simply changing the degree of the Y gantry. Let's see. FYI, there's an end stop bracket on the idler side of the Y you're missing before I get too far. Let's look at that. Thank you, Michael. So there's an end stop bracket on the idler side of the Y. Let's look at that. So the idler's up here. Is that just not shown here? I mean, I know I've got this plate right here that looks like it's for holding another end stop. Wait a minute. No. I've only got two end stops, and then I've got a inductive probe. I think I've got my 2 end stops, don't I? You're trying to confuse me? It's not hard. It's not hard. Here, let's take out, maybe instead of just like going to the floor and stuff, we'll just try to lay out some stuff here so it's more readily accessible. And I don't need that, and I don't need that right now. Definitely gonna want that. That's a USB cable, don't need that right now. That's a power cable, don't need that. We might need some zip ties. Got some feet. We've got some mounts for the belt pulleys. Uh-oh, don't open. Phew, that was close. Oh, of course we gotta have our branding put on there. Rest in peace. How many of you guys out there in the chat own a PrintrBot of some kind or another, or have run one, or have an anecdote to share? Sharing time. I think we need to share our feelings. It's an important part of the grieving process. And, you know, I'm being kind of flippant right now, but honestly, like, I do feel like there's a little grieving going on. I mean, I'd be lying if I didn't say I feel like I got a little bit misty thinking about it. You know, I was lucky enough to interact with Brooke on a limited basis. I don't have a super personal relationship with him at all or anything, but, you know, in my few interactions I've had with him, you know, over the last year or so, it's just, you know, it's really clear to me he's just a genuine guy. And the thing that strikes you instantly about him is, like, one, how personable and genuine he is. He's happy to talk to anybody. And two, just how much he cares and is excited about innovating and printing. And he'll probably be the first to tell you that, you know, the business side of it, you know, he surrounds himself with people that that were good at that part, but, you know, he was always pushing to make the product as good as it possibly could. And anytime that anybody would go to their shop, their facility, I mean, it was really just a small warehouse facility. You know, I was there helping with Adopt-A-Bot. There were plenty of people stopping in, and he made himself available and seemed to be happy to chat with people and all that stuff. And it was just a really cool experience, because it's not like, I don't know where else you're going to go and get to just chat with the CEO. Yeah, sorry, I've got the X there. But anyway, yeah, really neat guy, and I feel for him, but like I said, I know he's talented. I'm sure he's probably already got offers to do other ventures and stuff like that, so I'm confident he'll certainly land on his feet, or he's already probably on his feet. Who knows where he is? But Brooke, wherever you are, buddy, if you're watching, we're thinking about you. And I hope that you get the time to kind of soak in all the love that people were showing for you today, man. It was really cool to see and inspiring. You know, just in the few years since you've started, just how many people have been touched by your projects. All right, we're gonna clamp this guy on here. I think we are. I'm gonna rotate my flanges here so they line up with the bolt holes, and hopefully they're tapped. Why do I get the feeling like they're not tapped? Well, maybe they are tapped. Hard to say. There's definitely some schmutz in this one, but we'll see if it can. Maybe it'll just drive the stuff out as we tighten, he says. Famous last words. Let's see. Should I get a little closer here? You guys will tell me if you know, some text messages or something come in from you, right? That'd be great. Thanks. Can't get Nightbot to do that yet, quite yet. So Michael, yeah, see, these are not tapped. It's saying they go through. It's saying use M. Let's move over here. M46 socket heads. Wait, they could well be tapped, and I'm just putting in an M3. That's been known to happen. Michael, you're building yours right now too. Awesome. How's it going for you? I'm hoping you're ahead of me. I'm very slow. So these are, you can see my organization. Michael, you were bragging earlier about how beneficial it is to lay out stuff ahead of time. So yeah, that's an M4. M4 6. They don't really come any shorter than 6 that I've seen, or maybe they do, but it's a specialty. 6 seems to be the shortest little socket heads I've seen. But then again, I might be wrong. So the Y, let's see. Let's see, there's an end stop bracket on the idler side of the Y you're missing before you get too far. I just want to make sure I understand. So you said, sorry, it's right, it's in the model. Are you referring to this right here that we mounted last time? I think you are. But you're saying it's not used. So I'm not sure what you mean by that. Why wouldn't it be used? I would think we'd want to end stop our X carriage, X gantry. Oh, that's interesting. This is also an M4, but it's got a different size socket head. Maybe that's for something else. That's probably not. That's not a 6 though. That's why. Yep. Welcome to Pooch. Fumbles around with socket heads. Hey, congrats, Chris. Movement is always a good thing when you're building your printer, you know? Proof of life, as they say. I trust you'll tweet out the appropriate proof and documentation. Boy, people love that Ender 3. I was watching Neri's stream earlier. He was actually showing off the CRX again today. Just like Joel did yesterday. But if you haven't followed Neri's, he does a lot of rocketry printing, I believe. And he's printing these vases now that he's planning on selling, which I thought was kind of cool. He was just saying, like, he was getting these just really amazing prints off of his Ender, which I know he's a huge fan of. And he said he was planning on shellacking these vases and selling them for, like, you know, 20 bucks a pop. Make them watertight. So I'll be curious to hear how that goes for him. He will probably do quite well with that. He has quite a following. His print this tonight, or this 3D print tonight channel has, you know, 10,000 subscribers, and he's always got a ton of people in his stream, so it was cool. It's always cool to jump on different streams now and then and just kind of see the different crowds and the different things that people are into, you know, and what different things people are using 3D printing for. Because I think we tend to find our little groups, and you know, some of us do similar stuff, and some of us are just addicts like me and just want to try all the printers and all this stuff and have my hands in lots of different things and try to build and make a little bit of money along the way to pay for the habit. I think well, good night, Mad Mike 8. Thanks for stopping by while you did. No problem. I know I don't do a great job at keeping people awake, but I've been having a good time. If I'm going to be sitting around working on stuff anyway, I figured, like, why not fire off a stream while I'm at it. Chat with a few friends out there who hope you're doing something cool and exciting too. Yeah, this is one of the holes that I feel like didn't quite have the... Got some stuff in it. That's definitely It's definitely the M4 6mm though. Let's see if it goes in this hole. Yep, that worked there. So we might need to clean out that hole, but you know, if I can get 3 out of 4 on here right now, I'll probably be happy. You guys see okay, or see enough? What you care about? Dustin, how's the Mega CR10 build coming along? You do any more on that recently? That one feels like it's cross-threading. I don't like that. So I do like these ball drivers, but you can kind of get a little lazy with them sometimes, and when you're off axis like this and cross-thread a screw, and you know, that can mess stuff up pretty good, especially on, you know, aluminum where it's decently soft. Let's see if we slide the power supply out of the way a little bit. And yeah. See if we can come at it from the bottom a little bit more. All right, dude. Glad to hear it. The Duet is attached and mostly wired up. Mostly wired is better than not at all wired. Not quite as good as fully wired. Completely wired. Am I right? Printed Solid Dave, you still with us? You working on any printers tonight? I know you've got, I think Dave wins for most printers. He's showing off quite a collection on the Friday night 3D printing stream last week. Well, you know, it went on. It didn't feel great about it, but it seems like it grabbed. Definitely got a lot of chips, shards coming off of stuff. So we'll be sure to wash our hands. Wash our entire selves, actually. Really hot day here up in Auburn. Hit 103 today. Probably not terrible compared to some of the parts of the country, but I don't know anybody that wants to be outside and exposed in triple digits for any period of time. I am right. Dustin says I'm right, therefore it must be true. Let's see, printing a bracket for the PSU in Fusion 360. Well, good on you, brother. I am something below a noob with Fusion. I wish I was a little bit better, but I just haven't devoted the time to learning it. And you know what? It's one of those things where I keep telling myself, the amount of time you spend like going and trying to make things work in Tinkercad probably be better suited toward learning inside learning some Fusion 360. But there's always someday. Always someday. So what we're going to work on next is actually get the rollers in and try to get the belt assembly going. That'll be fun, right? Good. Well, I'm glad you're devoting the time. That's good. All right. Well, we got our, look at this. Got our X gantry with our Y gantry moving. That feels nice. Looks nice. Actually remarkably parallel for not having really taken any time to calibrate. I'm also noticing, as you said, there's got to be something here to hit that end stop, or like Michael said, it's not being used, but I don't know why it wouldn't be used. All right, let's open up different page. Let me just make sure here I've got everything that's been shown here. Yep. For now, it would appear so. So my plan is I'm going to get through everything on these PDFs and see how far that gets me, and then I think I'm going to have to start blowing apart the Fusion 360 file to get details on that which is not well illustrated on these PDFs. Hey Ben, good to have you with us as always. We are slowly continuing. I got my hole reamed out for the stepper that wasn't fitting and bolted that whole assembly together, so that's good. And I am going to now move on to, I think what I'll do, I'm going to work on the Z-belt assembly drawing right now, which you're going to see here momentarily. Just make sure you're seeing the same thing here. Hide that screen, hide that screen. Yeah. Let's see, do I have to share a different window? I think I do. I think the window capture needs to, not that one. Let's see, properties. I think I was grabbing a specific Acrobat window and not, well, I'll just do that. You know what I had done before, and I had combined all the PDFs into one so I could just go through each of the pages, but I had to restore my computer yesterday, and when I did that, all of the files in my download directory were gone, which makes no sense to me because I thought the whole point of Time Machine was to basically like maintain a diff of basically the whole computer. But for some reason, not my downloads directory. It said no. And I could probably go back in and find the stuff, but I haven't had time. So thankfully I was lucky enough to get the updated docs from Danska, who happened to save some screenshots of stuff before the PrintrBot website changed today. Thankfully, it seems like a lot of the stuff that's on the website is still there, but the main menu structure and the links are not. So you can't navigate to them by the traditional or the historical ways. If you have the link, it seems like a lot of the stuff works, but who knows for how long. So if you're following along here and you're doing this, or you want to put together any kind of PrintrBot, it's probably a good idea to go and grab yourself a copy or some screen grabs or whatever while you can, not knowing what the future state of the website's going to be. I did see the commitment, Ben. I appreciate your excitement around joining us for the catch-up, but yes, it's a bi-weekly stream, so it should have occurred to me when we were chatting last night and you were saying, oh yeah, I definitely want to be on for the catch-up. I just thought you were talking about the next one. I didn't think you were assuming it was actually today, so it'll be next Wednesday, so in a week. But we'd love to catch you for that. We have a good crowd and some really good sponsors lined up for that, and it's been a really fun stream. So if you haven't seen it before and are interested, Apyro Design and I do a bi-weekly stream featuring the best from around the community, the maker community, so it's not just 3D printing. All right, let's put together some Z-belt. All right. All right. You know, probably to be a little bit more helpful down the road, I will add to the website the schedule for upcoming catch-up episodes so that people have something to refer to rather than trying to keep track of whether or not it's an on or off week. You know, up your game between that. Yeah, man. Well, if you've got a project you're working on, you can just tag it community catch-up like everybody else has been doing, and and maybe we'll talk about it if it's ketchup worthy. All right, so we're gonna start getting the gears. So these are our, what are we calling these? The pulleys. The roller inserts are 3D printed. Put those in earlier in the week. This print was a little sloppy there, but you know what? For our purposes, I think that'll work. This one came out nice though. I like that. So this is ABS, and I did this on my Up Mini, and then these are just some PLA that I did in. I did these on my Prusa Mark III with some IC3D PLA actually. That they were nice enough to give me when I was at IRF. Or Murph, actually. I think I got it at Murph. Yeah. Lux Ketchup? Yeah. What are you 3D printing with that Lux, Ben? Alright, so we're just going to make it look like that. So the large gear is held on with the plastite screws, which we are learning are these thingies. I've always, oops, sorry, I dropped it. I always called them like a grub screw, but I don't know. Maybe a grub screw is technically not, doesn't have like a pan head on the top of it. So they call it plastite, probably because it's made to grab into plastic. At first I was reading it plastic screw, because it's really kind of small, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense. So anyway, we're plastite screws and some, or plastite, depending on how you want to pronounce it, and an M4 and an M6 washer on each one. So 2 different washers. I'm sure there's a good reason for that. We'll start screwing these together, and I'll probably get, let's see if this is, check this out. My good friend Jeffrey DeRusso helped me design these. So I had some generic screwdrivers that are going with the 3D printing starting kit I'm working on, but they weren't great grips, and so Jeffrey helped me do this, and I, asked him if he could design it so I could put a strap on it, and it's of course got my name in it, which is great because it just collects dirt, which we all love. I'm not loving that particular head. Oh, here, look. Yeah, so that, that's what the handle looked like before, and we made some cool covers for it. So that's fun, right? That's fun. Let's get a better screwdriver than that, though. The tip is just a little too fat, if you know what I mean. That doesn't seem like it's any better. Where's my really pointy tip? Would be great. Here we go. Is this it? No, that's not it. All right, we'll do this. We'll go to the precision screwdriver set, which is in that drawer. This'll work. This'll work. Put that in my pocket. I did see your email. You have quite a collection there of giveaways that you're monitoring and participating in. All right, so we're taking our gear out of here, putting it there with our plastite. I'm gonna say plastite. That sounds right. We'll grab our other gears out of here. So these are injection molded Delrin. Delrin's a nice material to be making gears out of because it's kind of a good, like a low friction material. We got some cable management stuff and some belt. So that's good. And it was good. I'm gonna have a sip of water. Getting a little parched. Chris, are you out of filament already? He's probably looking for a specific kind of filament. Now, picture doesn't say, and this doesn't look quite like the picture. There seems to be a side that like a nut can fit in, and a side that a nut can't fit in. I'm gonna guess that it doesn't matter though, because we have, wait a minute, please line up. Something is not lining up. Oh, there we go. Okay. Phew. Look at that. Oh, that actually looks nice. That feels nice. Look, when stuff just kind of snaps on snugly. Look at that. Just that's a testament to the print tolerances there. You know, it seats snugly in the aluminum tube, and then that fits on there like that. And you know, the plastite screws are really just a formality, because I don't see that thing going anywhere. It's not like it's really under any stress to pull it off, but you know, it'll probably wiggle free over time. Did I find this to be a complex build or an easy build? Well, I'm not done with the build yet. Or are you talking to somebody else? Let's see. Catch up. Gonna start something else in the next hour. That sounds interesting. Well, interesting thing about the plastite screws is if you over tighten them, they're gonna start to strip or drill. And like I said, I don't think this thing needs to get completely cranked down on, because it's not like it's gonna be under pressure to really pull it off of there. Well, assuming you're talking about this build, Ben, I don't think there's anything that's been particularly difficult so far. There's certainly been a few, I don't know if surprises. It's not really a surprise, you know. A lot of times you come across little things on a kit, especially a new kit, that were missed. And a lot of times the miss is as a result of, you know, some design changes or whatever, and just not thinking about what the results of that are. But no, nothing's jumping out at me as terrible right now. I'm a little more, I don't want to say concerned, but I'm going to be a little bit more interested in the details around getting the belt to stay together, long term, because you know, there's going to be a seam, and it looks like it's just kind of held together with Kapton tape right now, which is fine. See, I don't like that. It cracks. It makes a little cracky noise when I seat that down, so you know, just be ever so ginger with it. But you know, I'm not particularly intimidated by just kind of like looking at something and trying to copy it, and then if I screw up, going back and taking it apart again and stuff too. I think some people really seem to let, you know, like a full-on, they really want a full build manual, and it's probably stressful to them if they, you know, get to a point and something doesn't match up, or you know, you don't know what to do. And you know, my expectation with this is, well, I'll just figure it out, you know. Like we had a little interesting issue with the idler up here. Let's see, I'm blocking it. I'll move it this way. So Bill Steele was on the stream the other day while I was doing that part, and you know, he was assuring me, he's like, you know, this nut here is not supposed to bottom out inside the extrusion. And I said, Bill, there's no way that this is going to spin freely if this doesn't bottom out to hold it off. And he said, well, you know, my bearing doesn't pinch against that. I guess the bearing that he had in his version was able to kind of press against the extrusion, and the center of the bearing was a little further out than the edge of the bearing, and so it would still rotate. Not so with mine. So I just made my own little fix, just got some washers and put them in place there, and tightened it down so that they were held off by the washer. And it wasn't as simple, unfortunately, as just using one washer, because it was the M4 washer that was holding it off wasn't wide enough to not fall into the extrusion track. And so I had to use like an M6 and an M4, kind of similar to what I'm doing right here, where it's like a stack of washers, so that basically you can use M3 hardware with a larger washer. But you know, these are the kind of things that, you know, some people would probably say, wow, it's a little bit janky, you know, just use larger fender washers and stuff. But obviously they're trying to source stuff that's readily available and decently inexpensive. So there you go. Nope, not done yet, Chris. Not done yet. Are you done with your ender? You said it was moving. All right, we'll get that on there. Looks like we can tighten the metal plate down onto this extrusion here. We'll get these lined up. Doesn't really give us a sense of distance from the front. I'm guessing we probably just need it to be close enough so that the roller seats in here without touching. Yeah, everybody's on the ender hype. I know, print, right? Here's my board, my springboard. Did you see this? This was a funny thing. Like, this is another thing. Like, the documentation just kind of shows the board cantilevered off of this mount, and the picture on the website of the, you know, beta or whatever they took things, like this was standoffs and not that. So I think when I get this thing back on here and I have it here, I'll find some way to get a standoff in here so that this isn't subject to being pressed down, as, you know, it's not like you're really hammering on the board and stuff regularly, but I really don't like it being cantilevered. Also, I need something to keep it from just kind of sliding around in the track there. The joys of kit building. Let's put the plate on here, because this is a big clunky thing. Get it out of the way, right? And we'll go back to our rollers. I like to jump around. A jump around, a jump around. Okay, so the roller sits on the extrusion beneath the plate, that's right. So we're gonna need to take this thing off again so that it can fit. We'll take it off this end, so we'll put it on this end. See, this is part of the frustrating thing. It's like, this probably would have been helpful to do before the Y gantry. What's for dinner, Dustin? I hope you bring enough for everybody. I had a fine chicken salad tonight. I'm sure you all care. It wasn't actually chicken salad, it was a salad with chicken in it. Trying to eat a little cleaner. Probably not doing so well with it, but... Alright, so the plan is going to be then, I think, so that I'm not messing with this over here. See, this is where using T-nuts would just really make my day better, instead of these little extrusion nuts that they gave me. Because these have to slot in the end. And in order to slot them in the end, I have to take the extrusion apart again to get them in there. It's frustrating, as opposed to just being able to put a T-nut in there and tighten. But less expensive, I suppose, or he probably had a bunch of them lying around still. I don't know. Don't know. So let's get the plate on there, though, because at least we can do that part. And in order to do that, I need, see, and the other challenge around this is that the extrusion nut, when it's not tightened, like, slides around in the channel, and then it gets lost under there. So, you know, spend a lot of time kind of putting stuff together, taking it apart. Put it together, take it apart. I'm thinking this through, and I'm thinking if I put the plate on this now, I'm going to lose access to move this thing around with it being loose, and if I just loosen these, then the extrusion can slide to a point. So I really need to figure out where these need to set in place and then set them in place. So I think to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the Fusion 360 drawing, so I'll share that with you guys. And to do that, I need the link. And maybe I can just start typing. What was it, 360? No, I'll look at the link from Danska really quick. He actually emailed it to me earlier. It's very nice of him. Did the screen crash? Says the health is good. Says I'm going. Do you lose it? Am I still here? No, it's like buffering. Man. Well, I'm gonna keep going for those that are gonna watch the replay, and we'll see if it comes back or not. It says it's still sending, but it's just locked. Yeah, I can see that. Uh-oh. Looks like my bandwidth is jumping around as people are... We're back. Sort of back. Sorry guys, my bandwidth, like I said, it's not great at nighttime when everybody's streaming stuff, so let me pop this out again. Apparently it made me like re-log in and stuff. Hi Kat, good to see you. Hopefully, we'll see for how long. Looks like I'm back for now. Oh, the joys of the interwebs. You know, someday our kids are gonna like look back on this and see how antiquated it was. So anyway, I don't know what you guys missed out, but I was saying I think I really need to figure out where to get these locked in at, because if I put the plate on top of here, I'm gonna lose access to actually like fixing this top piece of extrusion in place. So I think what I want to do for that is I'm going to find the link to the Autodesk 360 file, which Danska sent me earlier, and I have right here. Actually, you know what? He put that in a tweet. Where's that tweet? I had it up, and when I just closed everything, it went away. Where is it? Where is it, Danska? Oh man, come on. Why didn't I bookmark it? Danska. Let's just look at his tweets. That would work, right? There it is. Okay, so I'm going to bookmark this so we don't lose that again. Uh-oh. 7:30 a.m. and Kat's still in bed. Oh, nice of you to join us, though. So, Kat, how is your phenomenal purse coming along that we've seen you working on? Let's see. All right, now I'm going to share this window with you guys. So we'll do a, I'm going to just change what this window capture is for a second. So why not? So let's see, Google Chrome, and it's on RepRap PrintrBelt. Let's see here. Yeah. All right. Cool. Look at that. You can see it now. I'm gonna have to move over here, and I'll scale this down just a hair. Oh, you know what? I changed. Oh well, that's okay. It's not what I really wanted to do, but that's okay. I'll just I'll go to the B camera again in a second. So we'll see if it's an awesome printer. We're on our own now as far as getting it up and going, and but you know, that's kind of the way I like it anyway. So what I'm looking for here is how far this plate needs to go forward. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this front roller on, and then I'll do the plate after that so I can set these extrusions in place. Sound like a plan? Good. I think so too. He says as he's talking to himself. I can tell right now though that these are already going to be a little bit too close. I'm going to eyeball it there. And I'll just tighten this guy down. And I want to just add another window capture here. This is Pooch doing on the fly OBS maneuvering. And this one's going to be my B camera. And I'll just move that over there. So put this here. Do a little scaling. And then we'll take this guy and we'll put it down here. And, you know. Hey, Trav, yeah, I'm having a good old time, man. It's not the same without you. You know, doing these solo streams. But we got a good crowd. Got a good crowd of curious folk here on a sad day of mourning for PrintrBot. We're still charging on, making the dream continue with the PrintrBelt, because I honestly believe that this is the future, or a future for printing. I think that this can open up a lot of opportunity, and it's really sad that it went before its time, because there's no other option. The black belt is some ridiculous price. What is the black belt retailing for? Somebody look that up for me. GoFundMe to enable the continued production of the printer. Yeah, that'd be a heck of a GoFundMe. It would require a decent amount of funds, I would imagine. All right, so before I take this piece off, I'm gonna put this extrusion back on. We'll slide our printer board out for right now, and we'll just slide this on from the ends just to maintain a little bit of integrity to the frame. This has been the story of the PrintrBelt, is kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. I don't know, if I'm lucky it's 2 forward, not 2 backward and 1 forward, I don't know. But it's okay. We like it that way, right? Fun. That's not the right size ball driver. I think we need our 4 mil. Yep. 4 mil it is. Downward. So just tighten that onto the frame real quick, and then we're going to flip her around. We don't want to grab it by that. We've got this dangly power supply. It's a nice hodgepodge. So we've got our 3D printed mounts here. we are going to get these. Let's see, we don't need that anymore because we reamed our hole out a long time ago. Let's clean up our workspace here. I'm going to tidy up some stuff. I'm going to put the extruder assembly back down there until we put that on. Don't need these. We don't need the belt quite yet, so we'll move that out of the way. And we don't need the drill anymore either. Bye-bye drill. Hopefully for good. We'll see. All right. And then we're going to move this extrusion to try to line up. So basically, here's the idea. Center that a little bit more on here. We're going to take... I buried my mouse here back here. We're going to take these guys here, and we've got our smooth rod. It's going to go here, and then that's going to hold our idler assembly in place, and we're just going to set it enough away from this plate so that it's good. Now, this is going to be interesting. We can adjust this as such to get us the tension that we need on the belt and probably to give enough support underneath the hotbed. So I guess we're going to find out exactly what we need to do. I'm imagining, I don't know if it's going to matter if the firmware knows the total length of the belt or not. Because theoretically, the belt is clear no matter how long it goes for and when it comes up again. So I don't think the length of the belt is going to matter. So that would theoretically mean that it doesn't matter exactly how far or how close it is, only in that we probably want it to be as close as it can so it's supported. Although I guess, I don't know. I guess it depends if we get up here and printing and it's putting enough force down like that it would. We're going to find out. We're going to find out. Instead of assuming things. We can sit here and talk about it until we're blue in the face. But we're not talkers, we're doers. We're both. We're both. I talk a lot too. It's an infinite loop, exactly. Be even cooler if they made it was like a Mobius loop. Hey Mitch, how's your build coming along? You're gonna backpack this? You're gonna backpack a belt printer? You must be talking about something else. Not entirely sure how that would work. It would be pretty funny though if you slapped this thing on your back, Mitch, and you walk around and then it was just like pooping out parts off the back as you were walking, leave a little trail of 3D prints. Little Hansel and Gretel for finding Mitch where Mitch has been. He says backpack the belt printer. I don't doubt you'd try. This is why can a brother get some T-nuts in here? Well, so this is my technique for moving this so that I don't lose the screws underneath the extrusion as I go. And let's lay some smooth rod here. That's roughly parallel. Yeah. Print breadcrumbs, exactly. That was kind of cool. I like that. Locked in place. One-dimensional printing? How does that work? Which dimension do you choose? This is an interesting, you know, T-slot is interesting stuff to build with, man. There's really not a lot you can't do. It's the modern day erector set. All right, so that's gonna be like that. And this is our bed support, I guess, for lack of a better term. And I think we're ready to take off this front plate right here. So we just put that on there. You know, I'm confident I could probably put this bed on now. Like, this seems like it's in a good spot. Let's look at that again. I mean, I got enough room here for that. And I got enough room back here, I think, not knowing... Let's move the camera here. Room back here, not knowing exactly what's going to collide, but I can always slide this thing back, so I'm not worried about that. So, yeah, what the heck? Let's get this thing in place. So, for that, throw you over there, and we're going to go back to the PDF, and we're going to enhance. Enhance. The little calipers. Boom. 16. Good. And 3. Ta-da. It seems a bit long. Oh, that's for the... Man, it's really hard to read that diagram sometimes. Okay, the M316s are for that. These are button heads, and they're M410s. We got some of those. I think. Not seeing many button heads left here, though. We've got one. I wonder if I used the wrong thing on the Y assembly. Or they just didn't give me enough. No matter, I definitely have some. Okay, well these are that's an M410 button head. But I think I used the other 3 on the Y gantry. So that makes me wonder if I used the wrong thing on the Y gantry. I mean, they need to be M4s because they're those extrusion nuts, but I'm limited in my selection here that was given me. Well, if I had to choose, let's flip this around. Make sure I don't have any more here before I break into my personal stash. Doesn't look like it. I'm gonna guess I was just shorted some screws, but I'm not sure. Ugh. Sorry, it keeps dropping in and out. I don't know if it's gonna... catch or not. Oh. Well, looks like I'm back for a little bit. I don't know for how long. But yeah, it's basically saying that my drop frames are because of the network, and that happens around this time of night. It's actually getting kind of late for when that usually happens. I was thinking I would get past it tonight, but anyway, what I was showing you guys, well, what I was showing you guys was basically I've got a limited number of these button heads here. They only seem to have given me 4, so I'm guessing they give me 4 for the bed, but probably not 4 for the Y gantry. So I'm just gonna kind of try to keep going, and if it breaks up, I don't know if it'll do this in the recording too, or what the ultimate thing is going to look like if it's buffering enough of this, but Just make sure I am buffering. Try that. Try to buffer the stream a little bit more. Maybe that'll help. Just create a little bit of a lag. 56K. Shut up. Yeah. No, OBS has usually been fine. It's just my network. It's terrible. Well, I'm gonna keep going. We'll see if it comes back or not. I don't blame you if you bail on me. That's fine. I'm gonna put it together one way or another. So we'll see if it keeps going. If it stops, it's just a bummer, man. Can't tell you how many times I've called the ISP and be like, "Look, you're telling me I got 100 down and 12 up, and I rarely see half of that." Some shenanigans right there. All right, so we got to find some more M4s. So I'm gonna just go to my personal stash rather than spend time digging around. So we got M4 16s. I've got M4. Shoot, I need really short M4s. I'll do my spare. I don't think bit rate is gonna matter. Yeah, it's just cutting in and coming back. Just cutting in and out. Well, like I said, I'm just gonna keep going. It's a bummer. I don't feel like I've got enough M4 hardware now. Well, the joys. The kit printer. I mean, that's an M4. That's one too. That's one. Maybe I'm just too short. I don't know. Put them in the corners right now. Yeah, I'm back for a little bit. We'll see for how long. I'm nice and grainy. My 500 bit may as well be on a modem right now. It's okay. We'll go old school. At least you can still hear me. Man, I would kill for a better ISP option. I wish I could get a new ISP. There's literally no other option where I live here. There is one show in town. It's called Suddenlink. And that is it. I think the AT&T option is, there might be a DSL option. I don't know, but it's not going to be great. I don't think I even have a phone line coming into the house anymore. You cut the hard line. Hey, Chris. Yeah, you jinxed it. Jinxed it. Well, maybe this way I'll keep going, and if I lose everybody, oh well, and you can come back and there'll at least be more done. The joys of living in the woods. So you can't even maintain 500 kilobits. Reminds me of like those old days, the AT&T store, where they would show off like the video phone that had like 1 frame per second. Grandma and grandpa talking to the kiddos. Maybe 3. Maybe it did 3 frames per second. It was about as good as this, though. I mean, I guess my only other option is to just record videos and posts, which I can certainly do, but what fun is that, you know? Why do I keep closing this up? Put it over here. I'm gonna have to find some more M4 stuff later on. Seem to be missing a few screws. A few screws loose. Might have some in here. Check this supply of goodies. Yeah, just some M4s in here. On this stream, Pooch hunts for hardware. Very exciting. No, I lied. These are all M3s. Okay. Well, it'll stay in place, I guess, for now until I can get some more button heads. So we're gonna use our handy dandy Yeah, 2001 we already had video phones. No, I'm talking about like in the 90s, like in the early 90s there was like maybe even it was like the early 90s. Like there was an AT&T store at the mall where I worked, and can't get that in there without there. And they were showing off this like super expensive telephone that had like a tiny little LCD screen on it, and it would like send, you know, heavily compressed photos over the telephone line, and it was literally like a phone, but like the person on the other end had to have the same $300 plus phone. And I don't know, I guess it was high tech at the time. Yeah, so good to know that, you know, if I want to have a future in streaming, I'm probably just gonna have to move or hold my breath until a better ISP comes to town, or this one upgrades its hardware or something. See, and then it's back and it's fine. And then when I do have a connection, it's like fantastic, you know, it's like 100 megabit. But see, again, it's not download I need, it's upload. And I don't know what the story is there. I guess everybody's emailing, or I don't know, there's just a bunch of jitter in the line, ghosts in the machine. It's the 21st century. You would hope they would have it figured out, man. I know, right? Video phones. We have the technology and everybody still texts each other. Yeah, I remember thinking the same thing, but then like when you realize like how much, I think we got into like too much phone calls, too many phone calls, and then you know, too much spam, stuff like that, and I'm like, I don't want to talk to a person, just text me, just give me the cliff notes, and then I'll respond to you when I have a sec. You know, it's like I don't want to interrupt somebody's day with the minutia of what I'm doing. Like there's nothing I need generally, and that's not true. I mean, there's definitely some times when it's appropriate, but most things, like, it's just like, yeah, respond when you get a chance. All right. Well, it says here we got a roller idler. So it says a 608 is supposed to fit through this rod, which I believe it does, but I feel like I want to put some oil or something on it. This is a really tight connection here. Oh, look at that. That's the proper method for inserting your 608 bearing into the end piece. Smashy, smashy. Smashy, smashy. Buffer, buffer. Was that loud? Sorry, guys. Really loud. Seems like that's seating pretty well, though. Smash, smash. Stab. Oh, man. I think that's going to need some WD-40 or something. Holy heck. Some... Yeah, brutal on my workbench, I know. Yeah, this would probably be better done with some oil. Well, it's kind of working. Now it's just stuck in there. A mallet in here? Do I have a hammer? Oh, I do. Little baby hammer. Look at the baby hammer. So now I feel like what I want is like a little piece of pipe or something to get that, because that is a really snug, look how snug that is. A deep well socket, that's a good call, Rover. That's a really good call. For that I have to go to the garage. I guess we're making a journey to the garage. I mean, it probably doesn't matter, you can't seem to see me half the time anyway. I'll put that there. Somebody cue the intermission music while I go get a deep well socket or a piece of pipe and some WD-40. What? You can listen to me along the way, maybe if it's not streaming. If it's not buffering, I mean. Oh, we're walking through the house. We're heading to the garage. Clump, clump, clump. Oh, whoa. Really hot in the garage. First thing you notice is getting blasted by a just huge wave of hot air. It's 103 here today. Alright, the socket set is up here on this shelf. Bet you're wondering what Pooch's garage looks like. It's nothing short of amazing, I'll tell you that. Let me get this piece of pipe here too while I'm at it. Tube's pretty long. Well, we'll see what this gets us. Always set it on the ground and smack it. All right. Anybody still here? Look at that. Oh, I was sure you'd all have left. Sure you'd all have left by now. My unreliable, janky, buffery stream. Pooch has the worst buffery streams of all. Check out this advanced technique. Ah. I didn't get the WD-40. Probably should have. I feel like I'm on my way to bending this thing. Why hasn't anybody yelled at me yet for doing this? It's probably a really poor choice. Doesn't anybody tell me that I make poor choices? You've been in worse streams, Russ? Thanks. It's probably really loud too, sorry. Let's see here. And that's gonna be off center, and then we'll have to figure that out. But you know what? Once it's on there. Hammer, 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 hammer. It's like, oh, that's really loud. Yeah, that's true. If I break it, I can't get support. But you know what? I know where to find RepRap parts. I mean, there's nothing here. I don't know, maybe this aluminum tubing just be more of a pain to source. But, you know, everything else is just off-the-shelf RepRap. Sorry about the audio, guys. That's too loud. Well, it's on. It's on. So, probably shouldn't have put those parts on there. This will be interesting to see. Like, we're gonna put this on and then have to take it off again to put the belt on. I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, the belt's not totally attached. I mean, like, that's actually decently well centered, it seems. Look at that. Seems like it's spinning nicely. You want to see that? Yeah. Get in there close. See what I'm seeing. Maybe at 11 o'clock everybody's going to go to bed and I can like can try to up the bit rate again so I don't look all pixely. Do I look like I'm in Minecraft? I'm all blocky. Yeah. Anyway, put that back over there. Got that done with our handy dandy steel pipe trick and our hammer and our really loud smacking audio. All right, we got a wheel. A wheel, a idler. It's times like this I really miss Bill Steele being here to tell me all the things I'm doing wrong. Probably doing wrong, I don't know. Haven't broken anything yet, knock on wood. Good night, Mitch. Surprised you hung in this long, man. Thanks for hanging around it. My blocky buffery stream. Hope you have a good one. Seems kind of nice. I guess we can put this back on. Yeah, you want to get through the whole 17-part series of me just trying to build it and then ultimately find out it never even works. I really hope that's not the case. One way or another, we're having a good old time now. I will keep you posted. Keep you posted, Mitch. I'm sure you'll be hearing from me on the PrintrBelt. Mm-hmm. Things are happening. Cool, Chris. Good seeing, bud. Thanks for stopping by. All right. Well, we got something, sort of, maybe. A little bit. Well, rats. We get a little buffer, then we build a little more. And that's the way the stream goes. That's the way the stream goes. Can you all hear me still while it's buffering, or is it just all or nothing in terms of the cutting in and out? loose, that's loose, that's loose. We're sliding everything out now over here so we can get to put everything on the other side. Again, the joys of not having an actual build manual, giving us a better direction of which way to, what order of operations we want to go in. But no matter, we're figuring it out as we go. Okay, so don't let me forget that we've got X gantry with the motor mount. We'll just leave these all as they are. We'll add our stuff for the other belt pulley. Are you kidding me? Like one. Oh, here they are. Nut trap short was not. Okay, let's look at the diagram and make sure there's nothing else I got to slide in there. I'll probably look at the Explodo. Oh, it's not the right thing. Under capture. Huh. That's the wrong screen. We want the oh, I think it's because I switched tabs, isn't it? It's a tab-based thing. There we go. Okay. So, I'm looking at our little exploded diagram. Let's see here. We've got this, and I mean, it looks like there's going to be another. Oh, I rotate here. I think it's this guy, orbit. The orbit this way. Okay, so what I'm looking for right now, I'll scoot this way so I might cut my face off again. What I'm looking for right now is what else I need to go in this extrusion so that I don't have to keep taking stuff on and off again. There's the stepper that's going to drive the belt, the Z, and that's mounted on this plate right here. That is not, of course, indicated in the PDF here. So, or maybe it is. Let's look. No, it's not. So, I mean, we got a detail of like basically just the belt, but not. Let me see if there's another file. Hey! Hey, Paul, welcome. Haven't seen you in a while. Travis is probably sleeping already, man. He's been burning the candle at all ends. All right, so we got such a bummer about PrintrBot, huh, Paul? PJ? We'll call you PJ. I know you're PJ. The beard is amongst us. So I'm just trying to look. So I was provided these different PDFs and whatnot, and I can tell from the Fusion 360 diagram that I'm going to need to get this mount on for the stepper that's going to drive the belt. But I wanted to see if there was actually a detail of that in PDF form, and it does not appear that there is. So we may well be just going off of the Fusion 360 model for that. That doesn't seem to be loading. It's not good. Extruder Gantry. It's not on the Y, so if it's not on this X assembly, then we're out of luck on the PDFs. Yeah, no. Okay, so we're gonna use this, I guess, to help drive us pretty much from, I think, from here on out, because there's no details really of how to mount the extruder assembly or any of that stuff, so we're just gonna have to reference this as best as we can. But, you know, hey, we got some pretty good detail here, and I'm pretty sure I can, like, explode stuff. Let's see. Boom! Let's, explode, collapse, explode. Your PrintrBot Play is the most reliable machine. Yeah, man. I think it was just really devastating to a lot of people. Are just super bummed. So, you know, like I said, I'm confident that Brooke's gonna, and all his, you know, smart people there are gonna be just fine and, you know, have another venture. But it's a sad day, just given how much they've done, and you know, it kind of feels like you might expect it from some of the smaller companies and stuff like that, but you know, PrintrBot's been kind of a staple for a long time. So there's no detail on the what I'm trying to get detail on right now is this this stepper motor assembly here and how that's attaching, and it looks to me, in panning around here, that there is a spacer. What's it naming this? There's a way to see what it's. Here, if we go to the design, I think there's a way to see what is this part called, because I don't think I have this piece, and it looks like it would be a printable part. Is there any way to? What's the properties? What is it calling this? Body 1? There's not a title for it? Huh. Yeah, crazy what a difference a couple days makes. I mean, Brooke was on my tweets the other day just saying, like, I'm here if you need me. And, you know, now he's on his little hiatus, I'm sure, so. But, you know what? We're going to figure it out. So it's just showing we got nut traps in here, some kind of spacer that's holding this soft. So, I mean, I guess the good news is it doesn't look like, well, it's not good news. I still need to be able to slot it in from here, but I need a spacer. And then this is the part that's going to hold the probe, the inductive probe. Okay. And then our motor mounts here. So I guess we can mount the stepper to this, and then we'll mount this to Gantry, but just make sure I don't have that part somewhere. Don't think I do. Don't think I do. Unless... No. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that I had a printed part that wasn't consistent. Let's look at the, I'm gonna look at the STLs that I have. Seems like the stream's been hanging in. I think I'm gonna try to up my bit rate again since it's been stable for the last couple minutes, so that I don't look so blocky at least. Stand by for just a second here. We're gonna do this. Settings. And output, and oh, can I change this on the fly? That would be sweet. Not 100, that would be worse. 1,000? Hey, look at that. Hey, that's kind of cool to know. I wouldn't have thought I could do that on the fly. Apparently I can. Awesome. I wonder if I can. That's neat. Yeah. Well, for those of you who wanted to know or didn't know or care, the in OBS you can actually change your bit rate on the fly. Who knew? All right, so I'm going to check the PDFs. I'm going to check the STL files and see if there's a 3D printed part I missed. I didn't think there was, but stranger things have happened. So my PrintrBot STLs. All right, we got a bar clamp. Those are the things that hold the smooth rod. Fan ducting, board mount end stop mount A, end stop mount B. Huh. I don't know why I have two different end stop mounts, even though one of them's got. That's interesting. Feet, the power supply mount, roller. I got no spacer. Got no spacer. Huh. Okay. Well, what is it gonna look like? Maybe let's get the roller on, see what it looks like with the gear in place. So we're basically doing this. Oh, look at that, look into infinity. How awesome is that? Let's go back to this view. Sorry, guys. So what I'm struggling with here is, maybe I'm not struggling yet, but trying to figure out what to do is this little standoff here that's like holding the motor mount off of the extrusion. It's really kind of hard to see from this angle. That's really tough to show. I mean, it's probably something I could just throw some washers in or something to basically hold it off, but the it's going here. I'll give you a better detail. So what it's showing is that this mount for the stepper that drives the belt has to be stepped off or held off of the extrusion by, I don't know, 20 millimeters, something like that. But I don't really know what that distance needs to be. There doesn't seem to be a printable part. I don't seem to have a other part to work with. I've got some standoffs that I was given, but I don't know what that's supposed to have on it. Well, I guess I can put my inductive sensor in here. Maybe that's going to make it harder to work with though, huh? So it's going to go like that. Motor's going to mount to the back of this. I'm going to put this whole thing together in the hopes that it'll at least let me get a clearer view of maybe how close or far I need to be from this guy when I seat it on here. Was I supposed to put a bearing in there probably before I put the gear on? I have 4 bearings. Would stand to reason. Yep. That's fun. So, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. Yeah, OBS has come a long way, huh? Well, I know from the last ones, this these M6 button heads are what we're holding on the last stepper, so might as well do it on this one too. That in there, that in there. And we're doing the buffer thing again, aren't we? That whole stripped. Huh. These aren't long enough. one longer? That one's a little bit longer. Looks like these are 8s. I need the 8s. So I got one here. At least if I have 2. I just need 2. I'd like to have 4, but if I just have 2, it should work. Oh, no, not that one. Oh, still going. That's good. Be nice if that screen share was like window independent. You know what if I pull the tab off? No. No, let's just share this window capture as that one so that I don't, when I toggle between screens, I don't show you all the different stuff here. Google Chrome, there we go. Just needs to be on its own window apparently. That's fine though. Okay. And that way if I'm buffering, maybe I can monitor that separately. Need more screen real estate. All right, 6 is no good. We need 8s. Show me the 8s. 6, 6. There's an 8. We got 3. I'm gonna regret telling Michael earlier on Twitter that I'm fine. I've only got like 1/3 of the hardware left. I don't need to like lay it all out and organize it. Well, you know, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. It's also possible that I flung, you know, a part or 2 down onto the ground yesterday. We'll go with 3 for now, because I'm sure that'll be oh so easy to get to later when I find the last screw. But I feel like that Y thing is just right in the way, huh? Getting really close. Really close to see that detail. Look at that. Look at that. All right, well, like I said, I got 3 out of 4 on my button heads there. Guess I could throw a socket head on there. I might even have one in here. Let's see what we got in here. What are you? Socket head. I don't think I have any more button heads. I don't know that it needs to be a button head. Guess we can just do a socket head on one of them. He says. I'm sure it's gonna like matter at some point. We'll see. Ta-da! PJ, he went and sorted all the hardware for the Folger Tech into the little 2-inch condiment cups after a day of struggling and hunting for the right screws. Big bags of hardware are the worst, period. It is really, really bad. Agreed. Is it the worst? I don't know. Is that actually tapped? No. Sorry. Hold it where you guys can see it. Let's see what we got here. This is the, which type is this? PNP. So this was that, the normally, ones are like the normally open, normally closed. Like there's one that like goes high when you get close versus the one that goes low when you get close to the metal. So I'm wondering, what is this all about? I'm sad to say I don't quite know. So why does this not seem right? Oh, is this is over here. This is over here, that's why. So okay, well, we're sensing something. We're sensing when the nut of the, maybe every time we get a rotation of the stepper, that's sensing when the screw on the stepper's coming all the way around. I'm not sure why that would be. Probably should have put that on first. Yay. Take it apart again. Back it up. Put on the gear. That's pretty snug. That's really snug. Jeez. Well, let's just try giving a little tap. Audio warning. Should dial back the input level or something, or sit further away, I guess. Yeah. That's a pretty tight press fit right there. There we go. I think I'm gonna start with like leaving it off a little bit more. I can always tap it on more later. All right, so this guy's going over here at some point to drive that. Well, even without that spacer that's in question from the drawing here, that's in blue, that you're seeing right here. Even without that little spacer, I can at least put in the extrusion nuts for now, because that's really what matters. And we'll figure out how to space it correctly. I don't even know what size those nuts are. Let's see, maybe it'll at least, will it tell me? Let's explode this a little. Here, what's this? It's a black oxide coating. It doesn't look like there's like labeling. I wonder if there's a show all objects, clear selection, isolate. Okay, so it's isolated. Zoom out here. This is interesting. Okay, so that's all that. It's calling that part of the X assembly. We already knew that. This must be part of the Z assembly. Yeah, okay, so it is the Z assembly, and this is the part of the bed roller assembly. It is not. That's the front. Bed roller assembly rear. Okay, so that's just the rollers. Belt motor mount. There we go. Spacer. Just called spacer. There's the spacer. Bar clamp. So where is it? See, like this says what the socket heads are, but it's like there's got to be a better way to locate. So I've got what the, here's the spacer. Here's the geared insert. That's fine. Where's the Can I click on the model? Yeah. Plastique screws, washers. No, this isn't terribly exciting as I dig around. Well, guess it doesn't matter right now. So, my bet though is, well, I know they need to be M4s, and I've only got a few of those, and these look to be 16s. So I'm gonna start with that, and we're gonna see where that gets us. And I'm gonna flip these around just in case there's something else that's gonna collide with them. I don't think there is. And we'll just put it on there and make up our own spacer. Later. Because that's what we do. We're makers and we make do. All right, well, that gives us the idea. So move that out of the way so we can get this other roller in, and we got to take this apart again. But before we do that, let's put this back on so that we have some space. We'll see. I'm going to get all this stuff. I'm hoping I can get all this stuff on here tonight, and then work on electronics maybe in the next one. See if that's a reasonable goal or not. Huh. Lost one of my spacers. There we go. Nice. This is the point in the stream where I start to peter out a little bit, being at it all day. Whoa. All right, well, hopefully that's the last of taking stuff out of the extrusion to put back in. Okay, got that. M16s and 316s. There we go. Well, at least we haven't buffered for a while, huh? So that's good. Assuming everybody hasn't fallen asleep. Oh, still got 6 people. We're lean and mean. Somebody say something. Give me proof of life out there. Hello, is anybody in here? Just not if you can hear me. Is there anyone? Haha. Thank goodness. Look, I admire you guys' commitment, man. I don't know that I would have sat around while I went through buffering hell like that. But it's got to get done one way or another, so may as well. Just keep on keeping on, right? So let's see. All right, things are looking fantastic. Put these back on there. All right, what do you think? Is that the last time I'm gonna have to take the ends off the extrusion to slide stuff on? Let's look at the diagram a little more before we do that and just decide if that is the case. Fun to, let's see, properties. How do I get out of the isolation mode? Design, animation, little X-ray, show all objects. There we go. Very cool. Man, I'll tell you, that Fusion 360 is some cool stuff. Cool stuff. Rotate that way. So it's interesting, it doesn't actually show the belt. Unless I hid it somehow. So just in looking at this, let's see, I've got these on, I've got this on, I've got the extrusion on, I've got that. And on the other side, I've got, oh no, I forgot to put the idler back on. Huh, well, at least I checked. Let's see, can I just back this out a little. Come on, motor mount. Ha. Foiled again. Unfoiled. Alright. See? This is why we check our work, people. I think we're all learning something today. Maybe. Probably promptly forget. Should we fly our little PrintrBelt? Put it there for now. It's reversed. I don't think I noticed that. I have problems with things being reversed. I don't like that. Let's flip that around. It's like when I discovered on my CR10 that I think it's a transform though. I don't think it's that's an actual filter here. Transform, and we flip it horizontal. Yeah. See, look at this. I've been streaming the whole time with this thing backwards, just like I had my CR10 wired, so that I was like, my X and Y, I think it was my X and Y end stops were flipped. No, it was my X and Y steppers were flipped, and so I was printing mirrored prints. So apparently that whatever that streamer that connects to my camera sends an inverted image. Interesting. Very, very interesting. You're just used to the buffering, PJ? It's just such a bummer, man. The last place I lived was like way more rural even, but I think there were just far fewer people sharing the bandwidth, and so it was just awesome, you know? And I moved like 2 miles down the road, but into like kind of more of a community where everybody's sharing like the same hub or something, and it all just goes to Each in a handbasket, as they say. I don't even know what that means. What is a handbasket? Is it just a basket? I think it is. All right, so next thing we're doing is we're taking off our little geared end again, so we can put our bearing in there, and then we're gonna hammer that bad boy back into place. So we're gonna take out our plastite screws. Aim this up a little bit more. And I know there's far more organized fellows out there than I am, and this is probably really infuriating for a lot of people to watch, just with me like, well, I'll just put stuff here, I'll move this here. Somehow I make it work. I've survived 40 years on this earth, somehow just being this kind of semi-disorganized, but I like to live on the edge. And I spend a lot of time looking for stuff on the edge. So take it with a grain of salt. All right. Pop the gear off if I can. There we go. Our Delrin gear has come off our 3D printed part. And now we're going to press our bearing in there with our very technically scientific bearing pressing method of apparently just pushing. That's actually not nearly as snug as the other ones were. Could probably actually stand to be a little more snug in my opinion, but well, whatever. I guess it doesn't matter. And it's a little bit uggo on that. I think I'm gonna clean that up a little. Get my handy dandy hobby knife, and always cut away from yourself, they say. They're a bunch of sissies though. Put the garbage can under here and catch as much of the mess as I can. Cut down here by my lap so I can live dangerously, risking cutting my femoral artery. And we're just tidying up. Little rough printing action going on here. It's actually looks like there's some support actually just left in here that I gotta pull out. I'll get my needle nose out and see what we can do with that. Maybe just a screwdriver. Maybe a fine flathead might do the trick. PJ, how do you cope? How do you cope with all the buffering, dude? You just gotta get zen. So yeah, see, I had just a little extra support in there, making things look a little bit rougher than it needs to be. And it may not be a big deal, but it won't allow the bearing to press all the way in. I'm not sure if that matters or not, but we've come this far. While I'm noticing, may as well make it right so I don't have to take it all apart for the 100th time. I'll tell you what, I'm really happy that Dan clued me into this other Fusion 360 thing, because the piece I was looking at before was a joke. It was like linking to like an early prototype of the belt. It was like the belt had like had a stepper driving it directly. It wasn't a geared setup. Be interesting to know why they chose to do a gear reduction. Doesn't seem like you'd need a whole lot of torque on a belt like this, but maybe maybe it was because the stepper would have had to roll too fast. Probably less of a torque issue, maybe a speed issue. Maybe it's just the way that it can mount more compactly. More, is that a word? Compactly. We're going strong. You know what I'm gonna do? You know what I'm gonna do? It's a treat to you guys. Yeah, smaller steps. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking there, Dustin. Smart guy. Nope, nope, don't want to do that. I do not want to exit. Go to my settings. It's a special treat. Now that it's getting late, I'm going to up my bit rate. Dare we try 1500? Oh, what's that even going to do? It's going to make my blemishes just that much more apparent. Step it up to 1500. I kind of want to see how high I can go before it starts to... Will I get less artifacting and stuff? Let's see. Now we're just distracted and goofing off with the stream stuff. 9,000! That's so many bits. We'll try 4,000. It's gonna be super clear. You're gonna see the detail of my light switch screw right here. Yeah. See, this is hilarious. It's like, it's just streaming solid 4,000. I'm not sure what advantages that's really gonna... Oh, nope, we're starting to lose it. We're starting to lose it. We gotta cut it back. We're gonna output, we're gonna bring it down. $9,000. What is this? See, look, that's what I get. That's what I get for messing with it. We'll see what 2,000 gets us. I mean, at 1080 with this compression for H264, 265. I'm not sure what it's using. It should be fine. I don't know. Does it look any sharper? Who knows? It's a little bit addicting, pulling supports off of stuff. I mean, now I'm just being... This is completely unnecessary, but you know, it makes me happy. It brings me joy, and isn't that reason enough? Look at that, just a little extra support on there. It just needs to come off, you know? So satisfying. Defiance 2050. I'm not really a gamer, so I don't know what that is. Is that like what all the kids are playing these days? Is that a sweet game? I'll bet Dustin knows what it is, man. He knows all the games. He's like the best. I've seen him play Call of Duty or Battlefield, or maybe it was both. I don't know. He was playing something. He was dying a lot though. Ooh, Rocket League. I have played Rocket League. That's a fun game. It's the one where you're like those, is that the one where you're the cars and you're going around and you're trying to like, basically it's like soccer, but you're a bunch of cars driving around trying to knock the ball in kind of thing? Yeah, I think it was. I think it was Battlefield. Wait, you don't know Defiance 2050? You don't think the kids are attracted to that one, hopefully. I don't know. Tell us about it. What is it? What happens in the future? It's a dystopian future. I mean, if it has Defiance in it, it's like the dictators have risen up and we must resist. Resist. 1,160 hours played. It's based on the TV show Defiance, which was more of an adult type show. Not at all. World is a complete mess. Yeah, isn't that what dystopian means? I'm confused. Alright, well, we're on bearings now, so that's cool. Now we get the joys of pressing this thingy on. Really should... Wait, like... You know what? I'm gonna go get some WD-40 just so that I'm not just struggling with this thing. Because why not? You guys enjoy your gaming, you can listen to me walk into the garage again. I'll narrate my journey once again if you like. Know what it's like. Depths of my house. So I'm walking down the hall. To the left is the hall bathroom. Right, I have the main entry through the foyer, down the grand staircase, through the butler's pantry, out into the second pantry, followed by the carport. I just step around the Ferrari here. And let's see, I think I put the WD-40 behind the Porsche. Oh, it's over by the Lambo. There we go. It's inside here. In the bin. Now that's where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be in that bin titled lubricants. It is not. So I could put... Alright, we're going to plan B. I don't know where I left my WD-40. The WD-40 is probably not the best lubricant for it anyway. So we're in the kitchen now. We're going in and we're using the very best that Mother Nature has to offer for lubrication, and that would be olive oil spray. Fun fact about olive oil spray, it's actually good. Olive oil spray is actually a good lubricant for 3D printed parts that have like mechanical stuff. So if there's ever any stiction, like if you've ever done the iris print, Dustin's probably done the iris print, you know, the one that goes and opens up, but sometimes it catches a little bit depending on how good it prints. Yeah, second pantry is for, exactly, it's for 11sies. I'm a big fan of 11sies here, and Brenner. So anyway, I got the olive oil spray. Extra virgin is key. See, now look. Now that reads backwards, huh? Because I flipped it around, even though it's like the printer... Oh, man. That's embarrassing. Why didn't anybody tell me that? I just had my PrintrBot thing backwards, and so I thought the whole thing was backwards. Oh, man. I just have serious, serious problems with mirrored imagery. You haven't done an iris yet? You should. That's a fun print. It's a good way to tell the how good your printer is too, because it's some tight tolerances to get the mechanics of that to work properly. So let's transform this back again to the proper way. Now that I've learned that it was user error. You guys aren't really watching anyway, so it doesn't matter. All right, so we're going to apply a copious amount of olive oil spray. That. Get it on the rod there. And let's see. It's not better. See, the problem is if it's not seated just right, it just takes a little twist for it to not. There we go. Got olive oil on my desk. Get my tool, my bearing seating tool, aka a piece of steel pipe. Black steel. It's very nice. Oh, new follower, Jim. Thanks, Jim. Oh, see, now that's moving a lot better, though. See, just a little oil. That's all it takes. Sorry about the headphone check. You know what? We'll just use the wood. It's a little less harsh that way. I'm gonna bring it all the way through, even though I probably don't need to, but then it's already seated on one side, pretty much where it needs to be. I'm spacing it based on, yeah, it goes a little further where it is for the other ones. You just love the making sure you guys are awake out there, wearing your headphones. There, that's nice. Uh-oh, getting into the yellows and the oranges. Don't want to start buffering again. I think we're flirting with buffering again here. I might have to drop down the bit rate. Sorry guys, you're not gonna see my blemishes as well. Bring it down. Scotty, bring her to 1500 CBR. BPS. See, that doesn't, well, I guess it doesn't really have to. See, there's the bearing sits snugly on here, so really it's just a matter of getting the bearing seated in the right spot. And let's just take a look at that. We lost the PrintrBot flag. Man, nobody's done the iris yet? That's a classic print, guys. It's like one of the OG 3D prints. Slide you back, slide you over. Okay, so we're gonna get a look here. I'm not gonna leave this here, but I just want to get a sense of how centered I am already. Thankfully, we have these nice little guide strips right here that kind of show us where the belt is actually gonna run when it's installed. Let me aim that down a little bit better so you can see what I'm actually pointing at. So, I mean, yeah, it's probably stand to go just a bit that way a little more, but it's not terrible. So let's do that. To do that, I'm just gonna give this a little tappy tap. A little tap tap. Just tap it in. Just tap it in. Give it a little tap tappy. Tap tap taparoo. Who knows what that's from? Who knows? There it is. There's the iris. Thank you, Justin. You want to throw an actual link up? I'll mod you. Just for now. I haven't met you, so I don't know if I can trust you to be a long-term moderator, but if you want to put the real deal link up there, you certainly can. Let's see, put you in timeout. No, let's just add moderator. All right, congrats, you're a temporary moderator if you want to post the actual link there. Put a little bit more olive oil in there. Delicious. You want to be a mob? What does that mean? You want to like mob somebody else's stream? You want to leave? Yeah, that's right. PJ knows. PJ knows this Happy Gilmore. I think I've seen Happy Gilmore. It's one of my favorite comedies of all times. I've probably seen it more than any other movie combined. Well, that's not true. That would be a lot, but I've seen it a lot of times. I actually watched it in French once. And the funny thing about watching it in French was that stuff that you wouldn't have expected them to like have dubbed into French, like the onomatopoeia, like the noises that people would make, were like in their own French versions. Like there's a point where the dude on the boat gets hit with the ball. You hit that guy. He shouldn't have been standing there. He just goes, oh, you know, like in the English version, and he goes, wee, in the French version. So apparently they have They prefer their own flavor of onomatopoeia. For guys being hit with golf balls on a boat in the middle of a pond. There. Look at that. Well, I think I'm going a little too far with it now, but it's because I got that all that lubrication in there now. Yeah. Oh, you want to be a mod, not a mob. All right, Dustin, what if I make you a mod? What are you gonna? Thank you, Justin, for putting the link in there. What are you gonna do with this power, Dustin? If I make you a mod, just gotten the. Let me get my paper towels. That olive oil might be a little rancid. Kind of tastes funny. These days I'm gonna finish cleaning this office. It's gonna be amazing. Amazing, I tell you. Stepping on everything. We don't need that there right now. Yeah, absolute power corrupts absolutely. That's right. Dustin, you want to start throwing the hammer? Because hey, I know it gets kind of rowdy in the chat here with my 6 viewers, my diehards. Yeah, that's nice. We don't want too much olive oil on there, because then you get belt slippage. Not a good thing. All right, let's see if that's where it needs to be right now. That there. Let's go a little bit more this way on the shaft. So, wait, I said it needs to go this way, right? Yeah. Like this. Headphone check. This is a very satisfying thing, you know, watching that just spin like that. A lot of satisfying things with this build. Look at that. It's pretty good. Yeah. It's good enough for government work, as they like to say. All right. Move over a little bit here. Put that back there. That's where I keep my steel pipes up against the wall in the corner. A little water. Get that rancid olive oil taste out of there. Okay. And then we get our gear back on there. I wonder if that's gonna matter or not. So there's like a side with like a nut trap, and then there's like a side that's like a nut itself. I guess no, it's just where the nut trap would be. But I don't really see it mattering. Wait, no, I take it back. It does. It hits the bearing that way when we can't get it flush against there. So we're gonna leave it outward, and then we press it on there firmly. There we go. Oh, that was a good snap. It's a satisfying snap. All right. And then we begin the process of reapplying our double washers. With what they were saying, they did not get warnings. Some were trying to imitate the host or his son. Oh, you're a mod over at Derek Mother's stream. You had to kick people out, huh? It's getting nuts. Huh. People are jerks sometimes, huh? Can't people just behave? Can't we all just get along? I think I just lost one of my washers. Heard something fall on the ground. Ratman 3-1 back. That sounds interesting. Do tell. Rover, see, I'm glad you could swing that hammer, man. Keep the peace. People will show some respect. So I broke down today, and well, it's gotten hot enough and it hasn't been cooling down, so you have a whole house fan, which is awesome, but it only works well when it cools down enough at night to, you know, suck in the cool air at night and cool the house down. And so I've had to start running the AC, and I don't really run the AC here very often, but when you're in triple digits for a couple days in a row and it doesn't really cool off at night, you run out of options. But the AC doesn't work terribly well. And so with all the printers I had running in here earlier and my server and all that stuff, it would get really pretty hot in here. So I went and found my old like portable AC unit out in the garage that I had out there. And I came in and I did an interesting job, like basically applying some duct tape and some foam and setting that in the window so that I can actually get some decent cooling in here. And man, did that help. But it's too loud to run during the stream. So it cooled it off nicely, but then it seems like it's heating back up again now, so I don't know, maybe a sign to wrap it soon. It's just never gonna get done if I don't just power through. Check Twitter if possible. One came back in later saying he was very sorry and he would behave. What, like under a different name? Hey, Lurkum. It's coming along. It's you know, when I'm not like losing parts on the ground and stuff like that. It's been an interesting process though, because the there's no build manual, and as such, oh, I know what, I lost one of my plastite screws. Plastite. Oh, here it is. Yeah, so I keep dropping stuff, so that certainly doesn't help things. But with there not being any build manual, there's not a good order of operations for stuff, and so I've found that, you know, I'll go to the PDF and I'll do like whatever part of details, but then it doesn't really tell me that I'm going to need to do these other parts over here. So I've had to take stuff off and put it back on, and I think a better plan of attack would have been just to like look at this Fusion 360 file that they gave me to begin with, and go from there. Let me clean up my display a little bit. This probably doesn't need to be that big either. Let's bring that down a little bit there. How about that? Oh, now you can. Now I don't have to like hunker over here as much. Wow, Rover, sounds like a lot of power there, man. I hope it didn't corrupt you, being a mod over there. So anyway, long story short, it is coming along, as I said, slowly but surely. We've encountered some interesting stuff in that there's some parts that apparently are still missing. There's some sort of spacer that looks like it should probably just be a 3D printed part, or can be a 3D printed part, but it was not in the 3D printed parts list. Unfortunately, was not a provided model in the downloads that was on the website. Okay, so I think I'm going to need my feet on here now so that I'm not resting on my power supply. Night, Justin. Oh, I'm buffering again. Let's drop that bit rate a little bit more. See what 1250 gets us. I like consistency. Consistency is key. All right, so we're gonna lift that up, put that on a foot, and put those down. We'll put a foot over here. You know what I might do? I don't think it shows it this way, but because there's nothing like holding these feet in place. Hey, Eddie. Good of you to make it for the late night shift. You missed a lot of excitement though. Had to go out to the garage twice. At least it looks like a weird printer now. Yeah. I'm not sure what you're expecting. I mean, it looks. I think it looks like what they had the pictures of, at least online, or it's maybe, I don't know. It is a weird printer, but you know what? Sometimes weird things are beautiful because you may think it looks weird, but when it's just printing and printing and printing, and you have to stop and take your prints off a bed and you know all that stuff. Mine's just printing and printing and printing, and then print some more. Then we'll see who's weird looking. Lurk 'em. You didn't know I was on. Come on, man. How many tweets does a guy have to send out? Probably more than one. You're not constantly watching, Eddie, and watching my feed. Why haven't you rung the bell, Eddie? Ring the bell so you get the notifications at least. Then you can decide with purpose that you're gonna ignore me. Not make up some sort of excuse that you didn't know. What's back? Oh, did the audio go out? Oh, you know what? I wonder if I'm losing battery. See, I start streaming this long, and my crummy little receiver likes to eat up its AAA batteries. Seems like it's okay for right now. Might have just been UPJ, and you're buffering. Okay, so this is where the spacer is going to come in handy. This is basically going to put the gear on the teeth where it needs to be. Well, mostly, maybe. Yeah, that's a bit wonky right there. So that's something we'll have to figure out since we weren't given a spacer for that. Yeah. Yeah, my network, my laptop, all the things. We're just having tech issues around here, Eddie. You missed it. We were in buffer purgatory earlier because of everybody streaming the latest season of whatever it is they watch these days. I don't really watch TV. But if I did, it'd probably be like Project Runway or The Bachelor. Something like that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put the feet on this part of the extrusion here so that at least they can't slide out the ends. And I gotta figure out what I'm gonna do to keep them from coming off. All right, I've determined at this point that I can put the rear extrusion back on because I don't think there's anything else that I need to like put in the extrusion slots. So that's a big step for us. Okay, come a long way. You guys have ridden it out with me, and I want you to know how thankful I am. And so I want you to experience firsthand the joy that is me for the last time putting the... I know, I should make a US, I'm assuming you mean USB, not UBS, adapter for the receiver. I think that's a good idea. We'll do a build on that or something at some point, he says. Anyway, for the last time, we are putting this back rail on, hopefully never to remove it again. And I think if anybody is watching this from the future, or in the future, or from the future, I would advise investing in T-nuts because they're just way easier and nicer to deal with. It's going to be worth every penny to just be able to like set stuff into the track and not have to take the track off every time you need to add something. So that's the takeaway. One of many takeaways. Many tidbits of wisdom I've offered up tonight. It buffered when I said buffer. It knew I was talking about it. That's funny. The buffering is the #1 reason you don't watch broadcast TV? Or Project Runway is? Or both? This is funny. I mean, this is a kit printer. This is like a first gen, you know, kit printer at its finest. The rubber feet, I think I was talking about on like maybe part 1 or 2. That's like on the bottom of the PSU. I was like, well, you know, maybe those serve some sort of purpose, you know, later on. Nope. Nope. They just, I think they're just that way. I think they're just that way because they wanted to basically be able to bolt it on. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, there's really no reason that that can't be turned over and have the switch be over here. I may just do that, honestly. Although, you know what? Maybe they did it because it wasn't gonna stand on its feet. It would elevate this side up too much. Because here it's standing on its feet. And if these rubber feet from the power supply were down, it would cant the whole thing. So maybe that's why they did it. But they could come off. Probably pull them off and use them somewhere else. Something else. They're really not doing anything. I might do that. You know what? Maybe the bolts. Is the bolt holding these on? Ha! We're going crazy. We're just gonna do what we want. Yeah. I got some good rubber feet out of the deal. I'm gonna put those in my little pile of tidbits, goodies to use somewhere else. Bag of parts printer. Round and round. Look at that. Beauty that is the ball driver. The bomb deuce. Can you unscrew stuff at a 45-degree angle like that? with your ball driver, your non-ball driver? Doubt it. I doubt it. That's how we roll. That's how we roll here. Look at that. Got some sweet little feet out of that. That's just a bonus gift, a parting gift from our friends at PrintrBot. Rest their souls. I really am rung up, just saddened by that whole thing. I don't know. All right. Well, Dustin's from the future. Good. Welcome. What's it like in the future, Dustin? Tell us. Let's go back to the drawing here. Back to the drawing board. And zoom, enhance, enhance, enhance. Still haven't quite figured out what that inductive is for. I'm guessing, yeah, Eddie, you could chime in maybe over here. So like there's an inductive sensor right here. Right. Just got spun around. Spin around. It's too close. There we go. I can aim it down. All right. Bear with me there. There we go. All right, so there's an inductive sensor right here. So when that space, first of all, when the spacer's holding this where it needs to be, like that should be pretty well lined up. Might have to be out a little further this way, but anyway, best I can figure is it's reading. We're probably supposed to put a grub screw into the end of this thing, and it's gonna read revolutions of the stepper. So it's like acting like an encoder of sorts, I guess. No, Lurkum, there's no manual. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there's no manual to tell me to do one way or the other. So that's right, I get to do what I want. And there's no warranty to worry about anymore. I don't know that there really was one to begin with, but don't have to worry about it being out of warranty. So, you know, maybe a lot of flamethrower to it or something cool. You know, something interesting. A little darker outside in the future, huh? I don't think it gets any darker once it's dark, really. I guess they say it's darkest before the dawn, but I don't know if I buy that. I don't like this. It's peeling off. I'm taking it off because I do what I want. It's my printer. I do what I want. Should we mount the extruder? The I guess what they're calling the Y. Seems like the right thing to do. Maybe we'll put the fan on it while we're at it. Oh, look at this. Look at that. It came with a little webcam attached to it. A little punchy here. So I printed out my fan holder. Let's spin around and get some detail on that, huh? I mean, this is kind of cool, but it's no build guide, but you know, it kind of gives you a sense. So look, see here, like there's no standoff or anything on here either. At least this is a 3D printed part, but you know, this is just this little cantilevered printer board. It just goes right here. Well, good night. Another one bites the dust. To sleep. You guys and all your sleeping. So silly. Just gonna sit here and put my PrintrBelt together and take it apart again and put it together again. Take it apart again. Have a good sleep, imagination to form. Thank you for coming by. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to my PDF. Do I have it? Text. next? I must have closed it. I'm gonna open up a new window capture. That's fine. Window capture 3. And we're gonna capture the PDF. But first we should probably open the right PDF. Where's my Acrobats? Acrobat. And we're gonna open the Extruder, not the Extruder Gantry. Oh yeah, that's one. Extruder Gantry. And then let's share that window with you, with the good folks at home. That is our Adobe Acrobat. Where is it? Boy. Huh. Extruder Gantry drawing. Why isn't it showing? Maybe because I just opened it. Cancel. It'll refresh the list once I open it again. Now it's just not doing anything. Oh, there it is. Acrobat. Extruder Gantry drawing. Okay. Scale her down. Put her right here. Like so. Down there. And let's kill the chrome. And scale it down a little bit. There we go. Pretty good. I'm covering my face. How's that? All right, so no surprises here. We're just going to attach our blower fan. Doesn't really tell us how we're attaching the mount to this, but I'm guessing it's just an M3. Doesn't look to be tapped. So we'll just run some M3 nuts through there. You give it any lock nuts? No lock nuts. We got a couple just regular nuts. This might work. The button head. Nice hodgepodge of stuff. Maybe it is. The hole is small enough, but it's not quite tapped, but it won't quite press all the way through, but it spins freely. Interesting. But if I put perhaps well, let's see, that's going to mount on the outside of that. And the nuts it's showing right there, I want to say it probably expected those holes to be tapped. I've got literally 2 nuts that were provided there, but I've got plenty more M3 nuts of my own, so I'll just use these for now. So, moral is, if you've got a PrintrBelt, I hope you have some spare parts to work with, because you're gonna need them. And that'll do. So I printed these in ABS. They look like looks like it stands off far enough from the hot end that it'll probably be okay. You know, I wonder, maybe it intended to use these plastite screws for that. Don't know. Doesn't say plastite screw anywhere else. So the 30mm. Oh, that's where I use the standoffs. Interesting. Okay. Hold on, hold on. Hold on now. It's all coming together. Clever. Okay, so it doesn't show this from the back side, but the extruder cooler. Sorry, not the extruder. I don't know. I'm not talking well right now. The hot end fan sits. Let's adjust this so you can see a little better. Okay, so the hot end fan is going to sit right above here, and it uses standoffs to basically bolt to the backs of these. So basically on one side we're bolting the fan, and on the other side we're bolting the mount for the part cooling fan. Clever, clever. Maybe. So that's saying we need to use some M316s, which we've got plenty of here. So orientation wise, let's see here. Oh, how does it go? So if we orient it with the label up, the fan is sucking from this side, is that right? And blowing. Okay, so it's blowing this way. So I don't remember. Do we want to suck heat off? No, we want to blow the heat off of the... Are we sucking heat away, or are we blowing air across the fins? Which is it? Yes, that's exactly right. It's not tapped for the blower fans because it goes into the back of the standoffs. That's exactly right. That was my little aha moment. Said it's interesting working with this level of detail. So like that. So I'm going to take that nut off of there because don't need it or want it. Doesn't tell me what hardware I want from the other side, but I'm gonna assume the same. I'm gonna assume it's M316s, since the thickness of these two mounts is basically the plate and this mount are basically the same as the fan. I think it would stand to reason that an M316 would be appropriate there. Yeah, blow onto the fins, but I don't think it makes much of a difference either way. As long as it's moving some heat away. I don't know. I've heard some debates over that very thing. Make sure that seems too long. 16. Also, I forgot to put the bracket on, so that could have a lot to do with it. Not actually screwing into anything here. Come on. What's happening here? I'm not getting lined up. Oh wow, that's got to sit flat. That's a really tight. Okay, so the standoff has to be rotated so that it sits flat against the extruder aluminum. Let me see if I can get a better shot of this for you. I'll probably put away my hammer now. Hammer down. Yeah, let's go like this, like this. Top view. you can see what I'm seeing. Okay, try this again. All right, so what I was saying was these standoffs have to basically be rotated so that the bottom, I mean, it's that tight. The bottom has got to sit flat against the top of the aluminum there so that the holes line up. And they do now. Stay. Timber! So we can't lean that far. I don't think my hands are going to be in the way anyway, but let's try going back from over here. We get the right size ball driver would certainly help because we've got socket heads and not button heads here. But we're threading, so that's good. And we haven't bottomed against that other screw, so that's also a good sign. And all is right with the world. Eddie, you still there, dude? Still with us? What's your vote? Blow air across the fins or suck air off of the hot end? The debate for push or pull is more about static pressure when the fan has a nice seal, but it's probably more effective when you're purely to blow when you're probably relying on airflow. Sounds reasonable to me. All right, blower fan. Let's see, there's that. Here's my blower fan. And there's my 3D printed part, fan vectoring part. So saying this presses in, air blows on. So says Eddie. So I guess this doesn't press in all the way because it'll hit the blower fins. Maybe. Yeah, no. Man, you want it to do that, but then the blower can't rotate. That's silly. Maybe this... Oh, you know what? I think this was designed to be supports. Let me look at the model. That would make sense because if this was not here, well, I don't know, is it just thin wall? Kind of cracked on that side. If this wasn't here, would it allow the blades to rotate? I want it to seat in there, but it doesn't feel like it presses in as well either. And there's literally nothing to hold it in place other than friction. Something tells me when we start blowing air through it too, it's going to pop out. So this may need to be redesigned at some point. And here I'm going to stab my hand. Nope, I didn't. Cheated death again. Or at least cheated blood again. Let's see what this does. I'm gonna bet not enough, but we'll see. I mean, I guess I could glue it. No, see, when that seats in there all the way, the blower won't rotate. Based on the positioning here. So I think, you know, if I shave it here, it probably could. But again, like, I don't feel like that's very firm. It's gonna stay on there. So we may have to do a little modding. Let's see if I just do a little trimmy here. I mean, I can probably trim this and then just put a tiny little plastite screw through it on the far side, and it'll hold. Whether or not that's the best solution, I don't know. Here I am, though, modding again without a care. I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm not missing anything. There's really nowhere else for these to mount. And it is designed to press in there pretty snugly. Probably clear out some of this support here. That might help. We lay it flat at least so I'm not cutting in midair. There we go. Let's see if that helps. Some of the support that was left in there might have been what the blower was hanging up on. In which case maybe I didn't need to trim all this extra stuff away, but I don't know, it just seemed a little janky to me. Something wasn't right about it. Didn't feel right. So we're doing it our way. Hooray! It's like a party blower. PrintrBot glues theirs directly to the fan. Yeah. Yeah, we could do that. Huh. Well, it snapped in there okay. I mean, I don't know, if I put a screw through that, it would certainly hold. Like I could drill through and bolt, but I don't know. Probably create a little turbulence in there from like where it's passing through the airflow. Probably could to glue it. Should we glue it? Well, before I glue it, let's mount it and just make sure it's right and I'm not gluing it in backwards or something like that, because that is something I would do. Alright, so we just need some 50mm fan shroud, needs some 22s, M3 22s with a nut on the backside. And that is what we will do. And 22 there, and a nut. All right, that's one. Wonder how many parts I'm going to be left with. How many leftover parts? Huh, okay. That's going to be interesting. I probably should have put that on first. Maybe it'll be easier if we just take this thing off. And we're back at put it on, take it off again. No matter. Now that we know, and knowing is half the battle. Yeah, I don't know if I like gluing it to the fan because, I mean, think about every printer I've ever had. Like, it feels like ultimately I mod the fan blower at some point. I mean, it's probably not terrible to, like, pull it off or, worst case, buy another blower fan. They're not super pricey. But, yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just going to put a screw in it for now, so it stays. See how it works. Oh, those are actually nut trapped. That's nice. It's a nice touch on the model. These ones are not. It's okay though, I don't think that's really necessary. It's on there nice and firm. So I was worried I had to have that oriented because it was going to be right up against that aluminum block again. But it worked out because it's recessed into the nut trap, integrated into the mount. Eddie says, by the way, a reason for fan blowing on instead of pulling off, if the fan pulls air off the heat sink, it creates negative pressure, causing air to rush in from all directions, which will actually restrict flow. Sounds to me like the Bernoulli principle is involved somewhere here. I don't know. I think that involves restriction, air restriction through a tube, maybe. The objective of the fan on the printer is to create the airflow to regulate the temperature. If you create the vacuum, the temps will be less stable. They use super glue, but I've always preferred hot glue since it's easier to remove. Yeah, hot glue is not a bad call. I actually have a hot glue gun right here. We could do that. I mean, I'm not really worried about it right now. We're not going to be printing just quite yet. So, but I think hot glue is a good call. I think we'll do that, Lurkum. Either that, nards. I think we're gonna have to. I think I ended up cutting off the wrong side of the thing. This is why I was glad we checked, because I basically set it up like that. It would have been nice. It would have been perfect. So, putting it this way. And we're back to a locked blower. What is... Not... I don't know, man. I don't know about that. It looks... I mean, maybe it wasn't intended to press all the way in? I mean, I guess it's got to be just below the hot end, but I mean, like the way it's vectoring the airflow really looks like it's just like blowing onto the hot end, like on this side of it. I'm not very thrilled about that that blower profile, or the ducting profile. Plus, the way it is right now, it doesn't spin, so there's definitely something wanting in that design. The Tronxy. Yeah, hot glue will do. I mean, look, even if I do... Are you seeing this? Did it... Oh, it died. Hold on a second. See if I can bring that back. My little B cam died. Wake up. Searching network. It's getting there. What happened? Apparently my my B camera app gave out for a second there. Let's see if I can bring it back again. There we go. Timed out. Anyway, I was saying, I was like, take a look at this. Like the blower profile. I don't know, just like the way it's like routing kind of like behind it and pretty low. I mean, I realize like we have to have it below where the nozzle is, but you know, usually you see it like just low enough so that you're kind of blowing as close on the part as you can. I mean, I guess it is routing this way on the part, so I'm gonna give it a go. Give it a go and see what it's like. All right, well, that's on there, and I guess all we have left to do really is put this on the rail and run the belts. And then I'm gonna have to figure out a spacer situation here because they didn't give me that spacer. Let me at least see if I can get this to stand off in the right place. So for those of you just joining us, we're learning all the things that were missing, not missing, that which was provided and was not. There's a spacer where the gear, like in the drivetrain here, where the gear meets the belt pulley, that is just missing. Still curious to know what the story is with the inductive sensor. Okay, so we came out of that there. So either we need a longer screw, which I don't have, or this has got to go that way. So I can do that. Shift this whole thing that way just to make it work for now. Right there. And I'll just model up in my good old Tinkercading. Just make a little block to go under there, so I'll just have to get that measurement. I'm not going to do it now, but I'll get that. And then, yeah, I mean, I guess there's a screw at some point that must go through one of these holes right here in the end of the thing to act like an encoder. Looks like the airflow is more on the nozzle coming out than the end instead of the bottom pointed at the bed. Now, yeah. I mean, if it was you, Eddie, how would you route that nozzle? Huh. Wow. Okay. I think this end stop configuration that they originally showed is not quite right, because based on where this is seated, the interesting. Yeah, there's something off right here for sure. This isn't going nearly long enough to hit this end stop unless there's some kind of something that's supposed to go on here. I would move the hole from the end to the bottom, but that's without seeing how it all come together. Yeah. Well, you know, it's hard to say, and there could well be some different considerations given the belt and the fact that when you look at this, you have to keep in mind that it's sitting like this. So, you know, there's a little room for it to come down this way maybe, but it'll drag on the print bed if it goes any further. Should probably put that on there so we can get a good look at it. So that means that this goes all the way over here. That doesn't seem right. Feels like something is amiss here. I need to look at this. I mean, here we go. Is it like this? It's like this. There we go. That's what's wrong with it, right? Okay, so we're going up that way. All right, let's put this on here first of all. So we got to open up my eccentric nuts, which we learned about before, so we can tighten and loosen this one here. Need a wrench. You know what, I'm just going to take these off. So that's going to take these off. Yeah, no, I think you're right. Brooke is certainly not an idiot, and I'm sure there's a reason. It's just not always clear to us what that reason is. How did I nylock those on there originally? Must have had a wrench here somewhere. Oh yeah, I think I used this. Most certainly not going to be able to loosen that one. So maybe I'll loosen this top one and then see if... How about this? How about we take the pulley off and just slide her on from the top? How's that sound? Would have been better if the blower was mounted at the front, since it can't really block the access to the nozzle anyway, since it's at an angle. Cool, Dustin. Thanks for joining, man. Have a good night's sleep. I'm about to shut it down myself. I had it. It was like this, right? That? Yeah. There we go. See? I might think of that before. So this probably has to move down. That's fine. We're looking mechanically like we're in decent shape. Those eccentric nuts just right. I'm gonna have to go grab a wrench later, another time probably. Yeah, that's kind of a critical thing, so it's sitting in the track correctly. Bill's doesn't even have that fan. Well, I guess we should consider ourselves blessed. Some... have any wrenches in there? No. No. My super long needle nose. I just want... here we go. Just want to get this all in here, so we can move on to wiring and all the rest. Man, I'll tell you what, if you don't like putting printer kits together, this is not gonna be your cup of tea. Thinking of Joel when he was talking to him the other day, and he's like, yeah, I don't get any joy in putting kits together. Well, if that is the case, this is not your printer. This will probably drive him completely nuts given how much there is. Good night, Cyberdustin. How much is missing? Try to just get this thing as tight as I can since I'm just sliding it on the end anyway. And then something like that looks like it's as makes it as close as it possibly can be to the rail. So hold that in place. Just gonna do this in my lap, sorry. It's not very visible. See how that looks. Oh, that's nice and snug there. Okay, so then just gotta do the same thing down here. This could be a little trickier. Just hold that in place, I guess, enough to loosen that nut. I think, yeah. Man, I love that ball driver. Look at that. You can hold it in place from that angle. That is handy. That is super handy. Okay. So loosen that. It would not have been fun to have to take the hot end off entirely to get to that nut. And what's going to get us the closest here? I wish there was an easier way to tell. I think it's that. I feel like I should have marked the eccentric nut to get a sense of the profile where it's highest. Maybe if I put it on here. Okay, that's definitely moving away from the rail. And that is moving it toward. But how far? Right there. That seems to be the highest. So again, I apologize. I'm gonna just hold this in my lap. Oh, you're kidding me. And that's a sign it's time to quit. Snap the fan mount. I mean, probably should have 100. I mean, I thought I did solid infill on that, but I think it's just too thin. Oh well, we'll worry about that another time. All right, well, that's on there. Bring this down a little bit more so we can see what it's like bottomed. That's the end stop there. Got to figure out what the story is with this end stop. We got to fix our part fan, figure out how we're going to do our blower fan. So there's still that. Got a spacer to print to figure out. I'm going to look at the detail. I think there's probably just supposed to be a screw in here. Like I said, for this thing to detect, I guess, every time there's a rotation of the stepper. I'm sure Bill has some insight on that, too, as why it would be. And then we got to wire everything up and install the belts. Install the belts and install the big belt. And then we'll go from there. All right, I'm wiped. Yeah, well, I guess this is not an option anymore, but yeah, it would have been well worth paying the $50 to have somebody else put it together, probably. make sure that it's all in place. But hey, well, okay, so just in finishing up for my thought process for now. So obviously the belts are running through. I've got my belt tightening setup is here, my idler, like that makes sense for getting that to go back and forth. I know that there's some end stop configuration. I'm guessing it's probably designed to end stop on this side, even though it's not in the drawing. I wonder if it's in the exploded diagram here. Let's look at that really quick. This is the fun stuff, though. This is the fun problem solving, right? Oh, man. You're the best, Eddie. I really appreciate that, buddy. Thanks for that. I will absolutely use that, too. Love me some morning coffee. Yeah, so it doesn't even show where the end stop is for the Y, but if I were a guessing man, I mean, look, it shows an end stop right here. If I can solo that. The problem is it doesn't reach. There's nothing in here to hit that. You know, based on the positioning of everything and the fact that they gave me this, oh, I lost the camera. Seems like I keep losing my Wi-Fi for some reason. Come back. Anyway, here's what I was going to show you. No, keeps losing its connection. Wonder if it's overheating. Not sure. Well, whatever. I can show it to this camera. There's an extra printed part that's designed to hold an end stop. My guess is based on the lack of option here. There's no armature. There could be some sort of armature that would potentially stick out from here that could possibly hit it. But my bet is that this mount here is designed to go on this rail on this side and have it actually end stop over here. So probably here, actually. That would make the most sense. So if that was there, it could actually clear that and hit this plate. Because it's all going to depend on where the belt passes through for the idler and all that good stuff. So how far is it completed? 70%? Yeah. Mechanically, it's really close. Vishal, if I'm saying that right. I've still got to put the belt on. I don't have any real details on how to do that. All I know is I've got some stainless steel that was sent to me separately, actually, to work with. And then I'll put Kapton, I guess, on that. The end stop is a mystery because the documentation shows that it goes here by this motor mount, but then there's nothing to actually trigger the end stop. There's also an extra 3D printed part that suggests that this may actually end stop on the side closest to me here. Logically, I would say that makes the most sense, so I'll probably try to go with that. I've got to fix this fan mount that I cracked. It was kind of flimsy, and I was cranking down on these eccentric nuts here, and I snapped that, so I got to fix that. And then there's a spacer that's supposed to go under here that's missing that I'm guessing should have been part of the 3D printed pieces, but didn't seem to be included. And then we just got to do our belts. So run that there and up around the idler, which I can put back on now. So we're close. I think 70% is probably a good guess. And then once we do that, we got to plug everything in and then start tinkering with the electronics. So getting closer every day, I guess. But it's a fun little kit, a lot of little problem solving to do. I would love it if I could have a way to like kind of affix this board. And I'm still curious again about that sensor and stuff. So we'll see. I got a couple of leftover parts. So we'll see. But I'm going to throw this all back in here and I'm going to wrap it up for tonight, seeing as my B camera decided to quit on me anyway. We'll call it a night. Let me see. Maybe I can actually bring it back for just a second. You can see better detail of what I'm talking about. Come on. Gonna connect? Not gonna connect. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so these are the details that I need to figure out. There's a spacer that needs to go down here. The belts, the end stop that doesn't reach where it has it in the documentation. So I think this is designed to go here and have it end stop on this side, which would make sense. And then it's just a matter of calibrating it. So you can see how close see how close it comes here. So once I get that steel belt on there and tensioned up, that'll be an interesting challenge. There's really no details on how to do that either. So we're living on the edge. All right, kill that camera. Well, I want to thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you for the contributions and the commentary and humoring me. And the support, as always. This is a fun build. I know it's taken a while, but we're making incremental progress and it's starting to look like something. So we will press on, and I will keep you guys posted on when I'm going to do the next stream, hopefully in the next day or two. I'd love to get it maybe going by the weekend. We'll see. Anyway, have a good night or day or whatever it is, wherever you are. For now, I'm going to sign off and get some sleep. Night all.